If you're going to PvP, you need to get the most broken equipment you can possibly find. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can get the best cursed weapons, blueprints and loot on Lost Colony. Hello Dodo crew and welcome back for another video on Ark Survival Ascended. Grab a bottle of water and let's get straight into it. Cursed items are a new and very strong type of gear you can find only on Lost Colony. Their biggest advantage is that they can roll very high stats, can interact with the skill tree for some extra effects, and most importantly, they don't need to be repaired, which saves a huge amount of resources over time. Outpost missions can drop cursed weapons occasionally, but by far the best way to farm them is by killing Neophytes. The biggest catch is that Neophytes take basically zero damage from creatures. They are almost completely immune to that kind of damage. When you kill them, they don't just drop cursed items and insane loot, but also tributes you need for the boss fight on this map. There is only one real exception to the creature damage immunity. The Tyler's bleed damage still works. If you want to farm cursed weapons efficiently, you'll need a strong Tula with a decent saddle. First, head into the city and raise your hostility level to 50 by killing NPCs and their creatures. This is the maximum hostility level. Once you reached 50, you'll get a new buff called Watched. From around 8 PM at night until 5 AM in the morning, Neophytes will start hunting you in the wild. Neophytes start spawning at level 50, and each time you kill one, the next spawns 50 levels higher, up to level 300. Once they hit 300, they stay there. Level doesn't matter too much, since you'll be trapping them later. But be careful, at higher levels they can still deal a lot of damage. Next, you'll need a small trap. A simple 2x2x2 box works fine. Make sure you have a double door to lure the Neophytes in and a regular door frame to exit so you can get out safely. Here's the important part. After you kill a Neophyte, you need to enter the city or one of the watchtowers to re-trigger the alarm. This refreshes the watched state, causing new Neophytes to spawn. If you don't do this, no new Neophytes will appear. Repeat this process each time to keep spawning them. If you got a Whalewin as a companion, this is also a great chance to fill its experience pretty fast, as high-level Neophytes give a ton of experience. Once you're done farming and don't want Neophytes spawning the next night, just head to the Corrupted Aberration area and kill a few Revenants. This lowers your hostility level. As soon as you're no longer at 50 stacks, Neophytes will stop hunting you entirely. An alternative way to farm them is by taming an Aureliax, since the egg minigame also spawns waves of Neophytes. These can be killed during the defense phase, letting you farm a large amount of loot and gear at the same time. On a side note, as of I'm editing this, I'm at about 8k subs. If you could sub to help me reaching my goal of 10k subs by the end of the year, I would greatly appreciate it. Outpost missions are hands down one of the best ways to get a ton of loot on Lost Colony. They spawn pretty much everywhere and share their spawns with loot caches. Outposts and loot caches have predefined spawns, so you mainly just have to fly around and look for them. I for sure haven't found all of them yet, but I made a simple map showing all the outposts I discovered so far. One important thing to know if you want to use creatures during an outpost mission, you have to uncrow them before starting the mission. As long as the mission is active, players inside the mission radius cannot uncrow creatures. Every outpost mission ends with a boss. After killing it, you get a key that can be used to unlock the loot stash in the middle. Most of the loot is pretty similar to classic OSD loot from other maps, but outposts can also drop cursed weapons, cursed armor, and if you're lucky, even thralls. All outposts fall into 3 main categories. First, we got attack outposts that are exactly what they sound like. You bring your thralls and creatures to assault the Lost King structures and clear the area. These missions usually have 3 phases. Your first task is to destroy all of the Lost King's buildings in the area. You can do this with weapons, but creatures are way faster. I highly recommend something like an Osidon, otherwise you'll probably run out of time pretty fast. Once the buildings are gone, the Lost King's reinforcements spawn. This is where it gets spicy. Thralls and creatures attack you, and many of the thralls use flamethrowers, whips and bolas. Staying mounted on something tanky like an Osidon is highly recommended, because fighting them on foot can go south very fast. In the final phase, 2 bosses spawn. One creature, often something like an Osidon or a Desmodus, and one extremely strong minion riding it. They have a ton of health and scale with the outpost difficulty. Clear remaining enemies first, then focus the bosses to finish the mission. Defense outposts play very differently and feel more like a tower defense minigame. You start the mission by activating the stash in the middle. After a short prep phase, waves of revenants will begin attacking both you and the stash. Your HUD will show where enemies are coming from and where you should set up defenses. During the mission, you get access to some new special resources used only for the defense structures. To place structures, walk up to a glowing circle, press E and choose what you want to build. After successfully completing a wave, these structures get upgraded, which you can see by the type of foundation, which can range between wood and metal. Killing revenants and building generators gives you more resources to expand your defenses. Keep in mind that most structures don't have a lot of HP and enemies will actively try to destroy them. After surviving 4 waves, a boss spawns and goes straight for your defense and the stash. If your setup is decent, the boss shouldn't be too much of a problem. Kill it and the loot is yours. Loot caches are honestly a pain. They work like classic OSDs from Extinction, but they feel much harder. The main problem is Neophytes. They take almost no damage from creatures, which means creature-based strategies like using a Karcher or even a Giga deal basically 0 damage, while Neophytes can have up to 40k HP during loot caches. The only realistic way to deal with them is using a taxpayer or an army of thralls. Anything else feels way too weak. Loot caches are very late game content, and honestly, considering the effort and risk, they are not really worth it compared to the outposts. They are also kind of boring, since we've already done OSDs and element veins before. Though, creature pathfinding is way better and makes more fun. Fishing is also a solid option on Lost Colony. With the new fishing skills, it becomes much easier and faster, and you can pull a surprising amount of good loot from it. It's for sure not the fastest or most efficient farming method, but if you're looking for a more relaxed, chill farm run that can still reward you with some crazy loot, it's absolutely worth doing. You can get a decent amount of weapons, gear and blueprints from fishing, especially if you find a good and safe place with some decent fish. On Lost Colony, winter drakelings also spawn, which makes you can also obtain Dragonhoard Keys, making it super useful for PvP. The loot table is insane and easily one of the best sources for PvP gear. You can get everything from ammo for all your weapons to blueprints for tech armor and weapons. Basically, most of what you need for PvP and late game setups. Dragonhoard Keys are created when a drakeling transfers its stored experience to another creature. The more experience you transfer at once, the better the key gets. A drakeling can store up to 30k experience and transfer it in one go. This works especially well during breeding sessions. You can quickly fill up your drakeling with experience by killing creatures you don't need. Outpost missions make this even better. They spawn waves of enemies, which lets you fill up your experience super fast. Once you're done, you walk away with the loot and a new Dragonhoard key at the same time, which feels incredibly rewarding. After you get a Dragonhoard key, it basically works just like any other treasure map. Take the key and your drakeling, activate the key and a treasure location will show up on your minimap. When you get close with the drakeling, a chest spawns and it can be looted like any other treasure chest. Dragonhoards often contain large amounts of ammo, weapons and armor. You can find everything from shotguns and snipers to flak and tech gear, making drakelings one of the best loot tools on Lost Colony. I hope you liked this video and I'm thrilled to read if this video has helped you. Hit the like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm and consider subbing to the channel. Alright, Frodo.